Hi, I'm Brandy Dusky, and this is EDL 856, Module 4, Understanding My Community, Concordia, USD 333. Looking at some customs and traditions, in Concordia, we have Fall Fest that falls on the third weekend in September every year. Every other year that happens to coincide with our homecoming game for the high school, but then every other year there are some tensions that arise when we don't have a high school activity associated with that Fall Fest event. The Orphan Train Museum is also in town, and part of the Orphan Train initiative is getting statues throughout town so businesses get funding or grant funding or donations and have actual orphans from the orphan train in statues outside throughout the community. The most recent one was placed at the elementary school last school year, so that is a part of the customs and traditions in the district. The Catholic faith is very predominant in Concordia. We are home to the Nazareth Mother House, and so that plays a big role within the community. Holiday celebrations that revolve around not necessarily the Catholic faith, but definitely the Christian faith, are within our school district pretty regularly, and then impact on food service for the Lenten season. Annual county fairs are important in the community. We're an agricultural community, so our students and staff are involved in the county fair. And then the First Christian Church in town also hosts weekly community suppers on Wednesday, and the district often helps to support that as well. Population characteristics, we have a 91.9% graduation rate, but significantly fewer students go on to college, 37%, and even fewer obtain their bachelor's or higher. We do have an 8% that do not graduate high school or go beyond that. Our age breakdown, we're looking at 24% being children within our district, roughly 56% are the adult population, and then 65 older seniors would make up about 20% of our population here in Concordia. The biggest occupation employer in the community is our school district. We employ 300 plus part-time and full-time employees, and then it's an agricultural community as well, so that would make up the next occupation. Looking at race, again, this is a pretty rural north central Kansas community, so we are predominantly white with very little racial disparities to speak of, but we do have a growing Hispanic population. Looking at communication channels that we utilize for the district, primarily Facebook and Twitter to get information out quickly and to the masses. We also utilize our TV, radio, newspaper, and our district website to get some of the ongoing situations out so that we can get that to the larger population who may not have access to the social media. Also, we use School Messenger as a direct way to contact students, parents, and staff regarding announcements for the school closures, and those sorts of things. Primarily, Facebook is used pretty extensively, multiple times a day, for multiple different buildings or district level, announcing activities and announcements. This school year, with the impact of COVID, even our morning assembly at the elementary school is a live feed on Facebook, so that those students who are remote can participate in that assembly as well. Most effective communication tool has been Facebook. Looking at community groups, we don't call it PTA or PTO, but we do have those groups. At our elementary, we have what we call PI, the Parents in Education, and it's made up of parents and school staff with administration as well. Home and School is at our middle school, and the makeup is the same, parents, staff, and administration. And then the Booster Club is what is used at the high school level. We also have site councils, so that would look at parents, staff, and business leaders at both sites, but then our 712 site council also includes students, so that brings a nice perspective to that group. We also have a ministerial alliance and other religious groups that the district works closely with community service projects. We do a backpacks program for food service on the weekends, so packing up those backpacks, and the Ministerial Alliance is very involved in that process with us. And then the last 2-ish years, we've had the Community Facility Planning Committee, and that has been looking at the updates that we are proposing for facility updates and getting that community transparency buy-in, having opportunities to collaborate on needs within the community, needs within the school district, and how we can meet both of those things effectively and just keep that transparency with the communication up. The leadership structure in the community involves a Chamber of Commerce that works with economic development and businesses that our district is a member of. Interestingly, the Cloud Corp used to be a part of the Chamber of Commerce, but their visions have kind of split, so they are now two separate entities, but both related to economic development, and the district is also a member of Cloud Corp. Lions Club supports our school with meeting student medical and vision needs for some of those higher needs families who don't have the financial ability to meet those needs on their own. And then they also sponsor our annual football banquet. Rotary, our district is very involved in Rotary. We have students of the week who attend those weekly meetings on a rotational basis, but also some students attend the meetings to present about activities that they're participating in, or announcements that are happening at the school that they're proud of, just keeping our community apprised of those things. Superintendent, principals, and teachers also regularly attend. And then our city governance is a city commission rather than a city council. Looking at the economic conditions, the poverty level in Concordia is 13.2, which is slightly higher than the Kansas poverty rate of 11.4, so we are considered a high poverty district. Our median household income is looking at $43,000 with the per capita about $25,600, and 60% of our population's household income is under $50,000. Interestingly enough, though we are a high poverty area, we have been pretty insulated from the impact of COVID-19. So nearly all of our businesses received some relief. And in talking with Mr. Breeze, our superintendent, he indicated that even our local grocery stores sales are up 300 to 400% because people have been shopping locally more. There have been some minimal layoffs, but there have also been some jobs added. And so it has been kind of a wash in that capacity. We haven't had a whole lot of COVID-19 impact quite yet. I'm hoping that we don't. Political structure, like I said, we have a city commission that is 5 individuals that are elected, and then of those 5 individuals, they self-elect from them the mayor, and usually that mayor rotates annually between the commissioners. The school board is an elected board as well of 7 members. Cloud Corp is made up of an appointed board, and then the Cloud County Community College also includes a board of trustees and a foundation board, and then our hospital has a board of directors. Interestingly enough, some of these boards are made up of some of the same people, so their influence is spread throughout the community, and they're able to influence more groups, obviously. Looking at social tensions, tax-driven political tensions are specifically what involve the school district, and that would be looking at our school improvement plans for facility updates. Our original building was built in 1929, and so obviously there are lots of changes that have happened, additions that have been made, all sorts of things, like 19 different elevation changes. So there are lots of things that aren't up to code for ADA compliance, safety. There are some changes that need to be made, and so trying to decide if it's more financially responsible to rebuild or to fix what's here. So we have more conservative-minded representatives in our community that feel like everything's fine. If it was fine then, it should be fine now. And then some that are a little more liberal-minded that feel like we want the best and best of everything, which is more than what we need. So we need to find that happy medium. Other social tensions have been brought about by COVID. Again, this is a rural area, so there are lots of ideas about how COVID-19 impacts our population and the mandates that are necessary for health and safety. And so with masks and limited attendance at events, and even differences of opinion between coming back to face-to-face instruction versus having remote and hybrid, or should we have even come back to face-to-face instruction? And then most recently, the new vaccine has been cause for some tension as well. Looking at previous community efforts, the bond elections that we have had in the past, in 2013 we passed an addition for a FEMA shelter at our elementary school, which has impacted the district very much. So we added 4 classrooms, and the addition was large enough that the entire elementary school can be safe in that FEMA shelter, and just brought up the overall safety of our district. Last year, there was a collaboration between the city and the school to update the tennis courts, utilizing district funds, donations, and city labor, and that was a good impact on our district as well. We have some projects on the horizon for the community. The hospital building project was approved last year, and so that will bring jobs to the community. And then looking hopefully to get our school improvements or building options approved yet this year. The power structure for our community, really within the district, board policy is followed. It's always referred back to, and that includes the chain of command. So making sure that we follow that chain of command and have taken all the appropriate steps before jumping to that next step. Looking at multicultural issues, we do have a small Hispanic population, as I mentioned before, and just trying to find ways to incorporate their culture into the way we do things. They make up 5% of our population, so it's difficult to incorporate that into the larger scheme, but trying. The religious culture helps with that because our Hispanic population is often part of that religious culture, and because that is mostly Catholic. Wednesday nights are held pretty sacred, so we don't have activities on those nights generally. Occasionally we'll have to reschedule something, but we try to keep those pretty open. And then again, that impact of Lent on the food service and making sure that we are meeting everybody's needs appropriately. And then we also have that farm agricultural culture where some students help with harvest or even miss school because they're hunting, and just recognizing how that impacts our district and the priorities that are set. Public opinion. How do we tell how people think and feel about our school system? When I asked Mr. Breeze, he said, not Facebook. And he said that lightheartedly, but it is true. There are a lot of negative comments that can be made, so we don't rely on that, but we do annually survey our staff and community, and we have also surveyed students to get some feedback about that. But ways to increase public understanding would be promoting the good things that we do. We want to put our best foot forward all the time, and it's easy to get stuck in that rut of defending the things that we've done rather than promoting the good things that we're doing regularly, and then maintaining that transparency moving forward. My references, I received some information from that U.S. Census Bureau and then also my interview with Mr. Breeze. Thank you.